G'day, hi, and welcome. Alright, it's that dark in here, so you'll just have to kind of bear with me. Hang on. And oh yeah, that's how it does it. Alright, so it is jam night again. No, you probably won't be able to see me for most of the ride, so sorry about that. But lights out. It's kind of a bit of a damp one, and it's going to be very foggy on the way there. I've got a whole bunch of leaves on I've been parking under my maple tree here, and all the leaves are just falling on top of my big bad SUV CRV here. The heck was that? Okay, there was, I guess, a bottle on top of my SRV. Okay, so tonight's going to be, we're not Halloween, but we are in October. It is very foggy out tonight, so I'm going to be very careful on the road tonight. And, yeah. So, hopefully, yeah, it's going to be one of those nights. That is like crazy foggy. It's foggy enough that my windshield's, like, not just fogged up, but it's, like, wet. You know, it's like you're driving and it's like things are just gradually getting, it's very, very damp. I'll be turning on the heat fairly soon. But what I got going on tonight, I've been looking forward to this night for a couple of weeks now, actually. Something I planned a little while back. And tonight I will be doing it. So what is it that I'll be doing, you ask? Well, obviously I'll be playing live, and that's nothing new. I've done that before. I do that just about every other week, right? But what will be different this time around is that, again, I left my guitar at home like I did last week, and I brought out my violin. But this time I didn't bring out the my Lionhead violin. I brought out a different violin. So what violin did I bring out? Or am I bringing out? Well, I got my cursed Stradivari with me. Yes, my infamous 1713 Stradivari. Is it a real Stradivari? Probably not. It says check copy on the inside, but maybe that's what they want you to think. Yeah. Anyway. When I bought this violin, I'm going to tell you a little story. You're going to see the story on stage too. It should be quite entertaining. But there's already a bit of the curse of that violin has already hit me tonight, where I went to print out the email, and lo and behold, my printer was out of ink. Coincidence? I don't know. As long as nothing else bad happens to me tonight, and it's foggy as hell tonight, and I'm going to have to read my own handwriting tonight. I mean, that sounds pretty cursed to me. That's pretty cursy stuff to me. As long as there's no maniacs on the road, it should be okay. I'll be driving a little bit slower tonight because, I mean, that is really fun. Even this far north, yeah, when there's like a hurricane in Florida or something like that, we get the weather up here too. Like it's all kind of comes in at the same time. It just, we get it a little bit later, but we also get, you know, the weather gets trapped up here. And, yeah. Of course, every tractor trailer is doing 140, but anyway. But the thing is this, is that I've got a story to tell tonight, and then I'm going to play the violin just for one piece, and then I'm going to see if I can borrow Greg's Taylor tonight and I'm going to do two songs on the guitar because I want to bring out a violin. I got two more violins that I can showcase. My Prokop violin, that one ain't coming out anytime soon because the neck kind of pulled apart on it again. But the Hornsteiner will be coming out probably next week. Oh, I'm just, sorry. There, another curse. I missed the drive-by horning of my friend there. I was supposed to honk at him. His name was honk at him. See that? That's one of those nights already. But all kidding aside, no, I bought this 1713 Czechoslovakian Stradivari copy, and I got this bizarre email after posting a video, and I thought it was such a great email story, whatever, superstitious story, that I was like, okay, I wanted to read it out live and stuff like that, but now I had to kind of write down like the bits of it, so it won't be as pure to form as what I received, but it should still come out pretty good. And the the goal is just to entertain the audience. So I want to play a little piece that I've been working on, kind of my goofy kind of violin stuff that's not really of anything. You know, a guitar player playing violin, and you know, you pretty much know that it's a guitar player playing violin just by the way I play, right? And yeah, so the goal is quite simple: entertain the audience with a little story, a little violin music, just to kind of show them the instrument, and then to take it to the next level. The goal is just to just give a taste of what that violin is, and it's good for me too, because I am not a violinist, and playing violin on the stage, I mean, this will be my second time doing it. So that's kind of fun too, you know, like it's something new, right? And my goal is just to keep displaying that. So next week I'll take out another violin and whatever. But to bring out the guitar and the violin in one night's a little bit much. It does tend to, for 15 minutes of songs, just use the other guy's stuff, you know what I mean? But the violin, it's because I go there by myself. Oh, here I am, people behind me. Cursed. It's cursed. It's the violin. Hopefully it stays in tune. That's the only thing I worry about today. That's the only curse I hope that I don't get cursed by is an untuned violin. But when it's damp out like this time of year is very, very fussy for and temperamental for weather. So it's like, you really don't want to be. You really don't want to be having to deal with finicky violins. But the next violin is probably my most reliable violin, the Hornsteiner violin. The big red beast that I got there. If you're a metalhead and you want to play a violin, that's what you want. Oh, look at that kitty cat. You don't want to be running around in the fog. You're going to be a squish kitty cat. You're going to lose your... Remember, there's 4 tires on the vehicle. You get hit 4 times. 2 vehicles plus 1 tire from another vehicle. You're done, man. That's all 9 lives on you. You stupid cat. Just saying. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. But, kitty cat running across the road. All these kind of roads always run across the road. As long as it's not deer or moose or a big bear. But, so the Hornsteiner, it's got pretty good tuners. I did a really good job even on the, this one, the tuners, where did the tuners on this one come from? Like, when I got this violin, I bought it from a guy named Brett at the violin shop in Ottawa. That's what it's called. It's on Rochester Street. And it was like $75. It even had strings on it and everything. All I had to do was really tune it up and go. But I do believe I readjusted a bridge on it. I do believe I did replace some of the strings on it. I think the electric violin string, when I got the electric violin, I think the strings on it are what's on the 1713 Strad right now. That said, the bridge, I think I refitted, and I think I know I replaced the tailpiece and the chin rest because what was on it was too small. Now I put because it was a 3/4 scale tailpiece and chin rest on it, so I ended up putting that on the 3/4 scale, which had a full size and whatever, and no cheek rest whatsoever. And I think I got that one for, I might have paid $85 for this one and $75 for the other little one. No, I paid $45 for the little one. That's what I did. This one was $75 or $85, whatever it was. And, oh man, that's a foggy night. It is a foggy night, guys. But, I know there's going to be some nights there. If it's a really bad storm or something like that, no, I won't be doing the jam night. It's not worth the risk, I get that. But, fog is bad, don't get me wrong. But snow, sleet, rain, that type of stuff, freezing rain, I won't go out in that. But for this, I'll do it. But, this is kind of my weekly venture. And I want to do them as long as I can. But I also want to make sure that I'm not, sitting there thing about this little Honda, there are no lights on the heating console. So you don't know where the heating console lights, you don't know where anything is. So that's you gotta wait till a blast of heat hits you. Wow, there we go. That's a heat here. A little bit too much. Okay, so there we go. All right. So freaking damn. I'm trying to keep my hands nice and clear. So yeah, the thing is with this violin, it's starting to cut. Like when I first got it, I recognize that it has a sweet tone to begin with. But also, it takes about a year and a half for the sound to really come out of a violin that's been sitting for a while. And this thing, you know, I got just enough rosin on it that I could probably do a couple more tunes on it before I have to re-rosin the bow again. But when there's just enough rosin on it, it's not as squeaky, it's just enough to get that sound out of it and sound smooth. So my goal tonight is just to play as smooth as possible. It's not a perfect violin by any stretch of the imagination, but it's actually not a bad violin. Playability-wise, it actually plays. It's one of the best playing violins I've picked up to date, including newer ones. It fits my hand. Is it the best fingerboard? No. You know, there's some spots on the fingerboard that are desired. But can you get a sound out of it? Yeah. Does it have good strings on it? No, it's got the cheapest strings possible, known to man on it. So yeah, there's things you gotta live with it, but you know, it's not something that I'm gonna be gigging with all the time. But it's nice. One of the things about the jam nights and everything is sharing things, sharing your talents, sharing your instruments, sharing the stories of your instruments. You know, that's what these nights are for. You know, you play songs, but you can also tell stories. You do this, you do that. And the nice thing about it is that just pulled out and I can't see their taillights. That's not nice. If all of a sudden you just hear a loud crash, it's because the guy hit me. I can't see. It's fogged out. It's freaking fogged out, man. He just disappeared. He was there. There he is, gone. That is really foggy. Sorry, I am trying to concentrate on where I am, where I'm going. Look behind me. I have to get some foggers on this sucker. I got the fog horn. This place up around here is kind of funny when it comes to that. Like, there's some days you literally cannot see across the road. It's just so foggy in the morning because we're close to two major rivers. We got the Gatineau River that I followed the whole way down, and it goes right into the Ottawa. So you're basically caught between two rivers, and that are hundreds of miles long, or kilometers long, and both, I guess. And what it does is it just leaves you with this really extremely foggy area early in the morning, and sometimes late in the evening. And then when you got like fall weather like this, it's just overcast all the time. It's just like the evenings are just pure fog all the time. A little bit weird, but you get used to it. And plus this windshield, although there's no cracks in it, thank God, not yet. It is an old windshield, so it's got, like, I guess, sand hitting and stuff like that over here. So when you're in fog and stuff like that, it kind of comes out as a little bit hazy. So, like, when you clean the windshield, you think it's really clean, but it's always, like, kind of, no matter how much you clean it, it's always got that little haze, right? And kind of just is what it is. But anyway, so you just drive sensitive. But anyway, so this violin, like I say, I'll tell the story, then I'll see if I can grab the Taylor guitar. I don't know how this guitar is going to be because I've never played this Taylor before. And Greg, he was telling me that Greg is the sound man, really good player. I asked him a few times, I said, I can't believe he bring that Taylor out as your beater guitar? He says, yeah, he says, I like it, but it's, you know, his other guitars, like, I mean, he's a professional musician. Strangely enough, he teaches at the elementary that I used to go to. The guy's from Australia originally, and he still has a bit of an Aussie accent, whatever. And I asked him, I said, are you a professional musician? Like, he goes, yeah, well, he says, I teach music lessons plus, you know, he plays jazz music all over the place. So he's got, like, he brought his jazz box out there a couple of weeks ago. Well, it's just, I think he had it with him or whatever. But he brings out this Taylor all the time. I'm not sure what model Taylor. It's not the upper, it's not a T3 or T5 or something like that. It's one of the in-between ones. But, you know, the low-end Taylor is like a high-end most of everything else. Like, I mean, they start off $1,500 up most. I don't know if there's any Taylors under $1,000 up here in Canada anyway. New. So it's kind of like that, right? And the thing is that I don't know what the setup's like on it. And I know last week, or when he goes up on stage, I was asking me to, you know, do the leads. It was that guitar's not set up for that. So what I'm assuming is that not set up means the action is still pretty high past the 7th fret. So the songs I got picked tonight. Holy jeez, make sure you get closer to that guy. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Pure fog and you got a guy 20 feet behind the other guy. Like, what the hell? Some people's kids, I swear to God. But anyway, the thing is that the guitar itself obviously has an active piezo under the bridge, and it's, you know, this guitar sounds really good. But just because it sounds really good doesn't mean it's a playable guitar. Even if you paid a gazillion dollars for it. It's something I've talked about with acoustic guitars quite often, is that I don't care if you just bought yourself a Gibson J200 custom shop. Chances are you're going to have to take it back in to get the action set up to what you like once you pick the strings you like this. A lot of these upper-end guitar manufacturers, what they do is they assume you're going to spend money doing that anyway. You know, not everybody just uses the cheapest strings they can find. You know, there are some people out there that do a lot more than that, and they don't just use the cheapest strings. They use the best they can get, and they use all kinds of gauges. He was telling me he uses 12 gauge on his acoustics. 12 gauge, now mind you, for a jazz player, this does make a lot of sense. You know, it would make a lot of sense to do that because, you know, jazz music versus, rock music and stuff like that, or even blues. A lot of these guys tend to use heavy gauges on their acoustics. Guys who are just strumming tend to use heavy gauge on the acoustics. They don't need light strings because they're not doing any string bends. They're not doing things like that at all. So there's no need for them to have 10 gauge or 9 gauge. Apparently there are 9 gauge acoustic strings out there. I've never used them. It'd be interesting, I guess. So it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. But yeah, I like 10s. So if this guy has 12s on there, right away, you know, if I have to play in the upper frets and that action's a little bit higher, I played 12s, 13s. I played 13s for a long time. And on 13s, I mean, those are heavy gauge strings. Those are really heavy. 13s are like cables. Those aren't strings, those are cables. And you really have to have a low action to get away with it. Mind you, the thicker the string, the thicker the tone. It depends what you're going for. Sometimes if you really want a muddy sound, or you really want just a really powerful drive in the acoustic guitar, it'll do it. But 13s I thought were just way overkill. You couldn't do anything with them. I think they were a jazz string too. A flat wound jazz string, that were the 13s that I used that one time. And I liked them for their tone, but I found that I didn't need that much strength. I didn't need that much thickness in the sound. I was getting fine out of the 10s and 11s. I I found that they got a little bit too muddy for certain things, especially the way I tend to shred on acoustic. But tonight, everything's going to be like pedal tone G chords. Like, it's just really nothing fancy whatsoever. One ballad, one power ballad. You guys from the 90s will really like it. And probably one of the best happy-go-lucky feel-good songs from the 1980s is my second song from them. If I get a third acoustic song in there, I'm going to try something, little movie trivia for you. There are three movies that are contenders here. What was the movie that played, should I give the song away? Let me think about this for a second. Okay. Yeah. A guy named Eddie. Okay. In the movie, it's a musician's movie. The guy named Eddie was a rock star. After he broke up with his girlfriend, he jumped into his car and he gets into a car accident. The car goes over the bridge, but they never found the body, and there was a sequel because of that. What was the name of the movie? And what was I'll even tell you the band that wrote the song, John Cassidy and the Beaver Brown Band. What was the name of the movie, okay, that this character Eddie played? In fact, the very first night I played live at the Cafe 1870, I played one of their songs from the second movie, not from the first movie. And what was the name of the movie? But what was the name of the main track of the first movie? And that will be the song I play tonight, if I can squeeze it in a fourth place. Yeah, that like, it's one of those things, like, because the way I was thinking about it, I was going to do 3 violin tunes tonight. Okay? And what I was going to do was take those 3 violin tunes, play 3 violin tunes tonight, which I did compose enough. And I even worked out another song that I could play violin and sing with for tonight too, if I wanted to try it. But I'm not going to try it. It was a cool idea, but I just couldn't get it to sound full enough to pull it off. So I'm going to do it with the acoustic. The next week I thought, well, okay, I'll do the same thing, but I figured, okay, if I bring out the Hornsteiner violin next week, and then bring out the electric violin the week after, the problem is I won't be playing any of the songs I want to play live for a month. I mean, that'll be 4 weeks of violins coming out, but no rock and roll stuff. So I want to keep, because I don't want to lose that edge, because let's say the owner's there tonight, you know, the husband or the wife, or both of them, and it's like, oh, there's that guy who's asking about a gig. What's he doing tonight? Oh, he's just playing violin. Okay, well, there's nothing there. Well, we'll book him, whatever. But if I do the violin, the story, and then jump on the guitar, it's like, oh, well, this guy kind of does everything. Well, that's pretty cool. And plus the guitar stuff, I nail that stuff because I know it so well, right? These are songs that they're not first-time tries. I have a song in the works right now, very popular song. But I will not tell you what it is, because I want to keep it as a surprise. But if I can pull this one off, it will be a Queen tune. I'll give you that much. I've been practicing it, but I don't have it down quite ready enough. And like I talked in other videos about, you know, bringing out songs too early, I can wing it through it tonight enough to get it probably, you know, to get, you know, people to enjoy it, but I don't want to just wing it. I want people to see something spectacular. Okay, I might not have been for Freddie Mercury's lifestyle, whatever. Most people, you know, are not on that side of the fence, whatever. But you can really respect the man's vocals ability and songwriting abilities. Very, very, very amazing man, Queen. And the thing about some songs is that what staples them into history, okay, is not just because it's a good song, but it was something. The song itself is not really so much that the song was so phenomenal because it was so well written, or so well sung, or so well played. But obviously that comes into play for sure. But that the song was inspirational because it was something you never heard before. And I'm a big fan and believer of that, where when you have something that's completely unique, you should share it. And if you can do something that not everybody is, even if there's people that could do it better than you, but they're not brave enough to do it, well, beat them to the punch. You know what I mean? Be the guy that does that song that, I can't believe he did that. That was incredible. And I've seen people that did the song, several renditions of it, and I was just like, hey, that guy, okay, well, it wasn't the best, but it was fun. And then these people that was like, if he had a little more practice at it, he or she, it doesn't matter, that song, they probably would have done so much better. But you could tell the audience really enjoyed it no matter what. But why not take it to epic levels if you can? Step up your game. Challenge yourself. Push yourself. I mean, like I say, I go to this jam night, and I mean, I will admit, I'm an okay musician. But I'm in the presence of some really, really good musicians. And by good, I mean, they just have a very professional edge to them. Now, there's several things that accomplish this at a jam night. For example, you will get a person that plays the same song every time they go. They ace it every time. But, you know, it's like, are they going to play it as good as they did last week? You know, where I don't do that. I do one-shot wonders where I'm going to play this song. I may never play it live again in my life. That's why I like to record everything. But if the song does really well with the audience, well, it gets stapled to my my set list, right? It's like, okay, I wasn't expecting that response. Let's see if I can duplicate that response again. You know, and some songs you bring them out, you ace them, and people think, okay, they clapped. It's like, okay, it was a well song, but they're not hooting and hollering and freaking out about it because it doesn't appeal to them. And that might happen at one place, and then in another place you go, and that very song completely blows their minds. So it's always kind of like that, especially when you're playing other people's stuff. When you're playing your own stuff, it's a weird response when you play your own stuff, simply due to the fact that when you play your own stuff, it's the idea that people have never heard it before, so they can't sing along with it. They don't know what the lyrics are, or if there's lyrics, you know. I tend to do some instrumentals, but I get hooting and hollering because it's razzle-dazzle stuff and parlor tricks that I throw in there. Just when I say parlor tricks, like tonight, the little violin tune I have is all parlor tricks. It's all just little bits that I've thrown together to make it look like I know what I'm doing. I don't actually know what I'm doing yet. And I say this because I watch professional violinists. One guy, I can't remember the name of his channel, but it's Velletti. The piece he did, it wasn't a Paganini tune. It was Velletti, the name, Canio. I think I'm probably butchering it, was the name of the piece. And it's from the late 1700s, or late 1600s, early 1700s. And this piece has just blown my mind. And I'm like, well, a couple of people I've seen play it, and it's just like, this guy, okay, now mind you, he's got a really good recording setup. The violin that he's playing is a really good sounding violin, and his playing abilities are phenomenal. And I'm listening to him, and it's like, okay, not only is he playing phenomenal, but when he's recording, he's got a little bit of a reverb on there. So it sounds like he's in a massive concert hall, and it just sounds epic, right? But I'm like, okay, now when I can do that in front of a crowd, one take wonder like that, I will be very happy. When I can play like violin the same way like Alexander Kosnov, is that his name? He's either Polish or Russian or whatever. Does all the Paganini stuff. If you punch in Paganini's 1st, 5th, and 24th, he's the guy there. He's got like the curly hair and the the bohemian suit on, 1700 style, playing the Paganini. And of course, he plays it unbelievable. The videos are like 9-10 years old, but they got millions of views on them just because it's like, if you want to see how it's done right in front of people, one take wonder, watch that guy. And I'm sure he's probably making mistakes that we can't pick out because he knows how to cover them. You know what I mean? And after a while, when you follow people and really listen to a piece over and over again, I don't care how perfect the piece is, you will, or your favorite song, you will always find a mistake somewhere. A mistake meaning it's like, okay, didn't quite fret the guitar quite well. Even all these singers now using auto-tune, you'll hear the auto-tune go out. Like that, you know, like that weird thing. When Cher did it with Believe in Life After Love. Okay? Now, mind you, she did it on purpose, but you can hear the auto-tune going out. It gives her that robot sound. And she probably discovered it by accident. So, oh, hey, I can do something. It's like a wah-wah pedal, you know what I mean? Like it's like they probably discovered it by accident. Say, we could do something really cool with this. Distortion, a little history for you, a little trivia for you. Distortion was created by blown speakers. Yeah. Many effects, like the legendary Les Paul, he didn't only create guitars, but he created a lot of effects. He even had Les Paul studios that had effects built into them. He was a very revolutionary man. Now, on the recording side of things, another revolutionary man was Jimi Hendrix. Using reverse delays. You know, how did they get the reverse guitar? Well, back in the day when you had what they call a DAT reel, or even tape cassettes or whatever, and you recorded, if it was a 4-track, 8-track, or whatever, the reel was divided into two sides, an A side and a B side, and both sides went in different directions. So that meant your little needle or whatever that picked up the sound, what it did was, I'm forgetting the proper name of it, what it did is it ran on one side of the tape. Now, what you would have to do while you were recording is shut down, let's say it was a 4-track, and I had a 4-track that was like this. What you would have to do when you were doing the mix down is shut down the far side tracks. So track 1 and 2 were playing, but tracks 3 and 4, you had to turn those off during the mix, because when you would master it down, what you had to do then was, this guy's coming up on me fast. I'll let him go by. But anyway, what you had to do was mix it down so that when you got to tracks 3 and 4, okay, you would take them and you would add them to another DAT reel to get them with tracks 1 and 2. But if you left the volumes up, you would hear those tracks in reverse. And hence, Jimi Hendrix, he would play something, okay, and try to figure out, okay, well, what key is it in, okay, and what does that same riff sound like in reverse over my regular rhythm track? And thus, the reverse guitar, you know, the reverse guitar thing was born, and then delay was, the delay we use now is digital. It's not what it started out with. Delay came from things like the Echoplex. They refined that. There was recording techniques that they used to make delay. The same way harmonizing. Harmonizing, you used to have to put 5 guitar parts over playing in all 5 positions on a guitar neck to get that harmonized sound like you would get. You hear Yngwie use it. Now it's all one pedal does it for you, so you don't have to record the same lead, you know, over each other. For example, the end of Hotel California, where you have different guitar harmonies there. Woo, skunk. Oh. Sorry, that one was fresh, guys. That one was really fresh. Never mind the fog. It's the skunk will put you off the road. But anyway, yeah, those guitar harmonies, you had to record them independently. This is why you had, like, Leonard Skinner was a 6-piece band, is so you could, you know, the guy that, you know, so you could distribute the guitar parts, right? Iron Maiden does that. They still do that to this day. Now, you can get away with a lot of that stuff with just effects pedals nowadays. But in its infancy, in the beginning, these were recording techniques that were brought out by, you know, even guys like Brian May. He really put delay on the map. Other guys, Eddie Van Halen, chorus, flange, and delay. Randy Rhoads, chorus, flange, delay. Although not as much delay. But yeah, Yngwie, harmonizing, chorus, flange, delay. That Metallica, compressors. You know, compressing the sound all the time. That Weasley, you know, tunnel sound that you get. Yeah, these sounds came through recording techniques and stuff like that of people who were experimenting at the time. So experimenting with stuff live can be fun too. And experimenting with different instruments live can be very fun as well. One of the things I really like doing is playing a popular song on an oddball instrument. I miss my mandolin, only ever one, quite a bit, because my mandolin was a really cool instrument that I did a lot of very popular tunes on, that when people hear it, they're like, oh my God, the guy just did Hotel California on a mandolin. How's that even possible? You know what I mean? Well, it's very possible if you understand music is transitional from instrument to instrument. You just have to figure out where the notes are on the instrument. It's not as spellbinding. Like I say, musicians are con artists, using parlor tricks all the time. The parlor trick you see me do today, I've practiced 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Minimum. Before it's impressive. The more well-rehearsed are you with your parlor tricks, and knowing how to disguise your parlor tricks from one song to the next, only after a while people pick up on it, but they still don't pick up on it that it's a parlor trick. What they say you're doing is, well, that's just their style that they play. You know what I mean? You know, it's just the style they play. So it's not a parlor trick; it's a style. And you could say that. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's how musicians distinguish themselves in a lot of ways. Bringing up Paganini. Paganini did something that nobody else was doing. Mozart did something nobody else was doing. Bach did something nobody else was doing. You know, Mozart was interesting because he was such a character. Beethoven was stone deaf when he did his last symphony. He cut the legs off the piano, put it on the ground so he could hear the resonation. But the guy knew what he was doing because he understood music so well, the theory so well. Remember, back then, people studied as an occupation. And they competed with their pieces to become popular or whatever. So there's so many composers that went the way of the dodo in history that probably wrote better stuff than Paganini, Mozart, Beethoven, whoever. And we'll never know who they are because they never got a chance to shine. They just didn't, the stars didn't line up for them like it did for the others. And you see this with musicians today. The proof is in the pudding where I'm going. There's a ton of, some of the best musicians in the world that you've never heard of are going to be in this bar, you know what I mean? The talent is just unreal here. I love this place, it's awesome. I like places like it. I always love jam nights, even with the beginners. They're, like, you get your different types of jam nights. You get your jam nights where it's all a beginner's fest. Everybody's playing, the songs like Patience and Take It Easy and, all those kind of songs that, all those really easy hit songs that, everybody, 5 people are going to be playing that song tonight because it's their first time on stage, and these were really easy ones to pull off. Then other people come out and they hit you with something you never heard before. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's one of the locals that plays every Sunday pretty much. He's, again, some people get those lucky, it's lucky and unlucky because it gets stale when you play the same place over and over and over. It doesn't get stale for me yet because I never play the same thing twice. You know what I mean? So, yes, the venue's the same, but you're never going to, with the exception of me playing, this will be like 7 weeks I've been doing this. 6 or 7 weeks I've been doing this. Or more. I can't remember when I started doing this. That, out of that time, I only played Pipeline twice. And I just did that because I threw it in there. And I'm okay with that. I really do try to, again, you get 3 songs. Sometimes I get lucky and I get the 4 songs on there. And I really, really try to get it so that, people have a good experience when I'm there. Not only do they have a good experience when I'm there, but that they get, get something different, and contrast to what everybody else is playing to a good degree. Last week there, I swear to God, that guy there, not Phil, what the hell was his name? I'll think of his name anyway. He plays there, he's there, he must be a local because he's there almost all the time. He did a rendition of Let It Be, and that almost put me in tears. Especially, like I say, that was a song I was working on around the time my mom passed away. So when I hear that song, you know, and when I hear somebody do it really well, you know, it's like bravo, bravo, you know what I mean? And I gotta admire that because it's when people do stuff like that and they do it so well, you know that they do it well because they've played it a million times. You know they're doing it well because, man, we got a truck drag race here. We got two pump out trucks. We got two shit trucks racing each other here. I guess I was holding these guys up. I guess they're going home. Here I am holding them up. Bad me. It's kind of funny they're side by side with double lane here. I guess the speed limit's just not fast enough for some people. But anyway, but what I was saying is like, yeah, this guy, he's great hair and whatever. He plays Beatle cover songs all the time. So yeah, he's going to be really good when you see him. But if he plays the same bar every time, you're going to get bored of going seeing him. This happens with host bands quite a bit. What's unique about this place is every week since I've been there, they've had a different guest host. Guest host, that's something I wouldn't mind doing. You know, if it's a stepping stone to getting a full gig, I'd do it, even if I did it for free. The only thing is I'm going to have to get other gigs going pretty soon. But like I say, what's holding me back right now is my low income. Not complaining and whining. Well, yeah, I'm complaining and whining like everybody else. But it's the gasoline to get me to Ottawa and back. And it's a lot to spend. Where I do know I'm going to get a gig here, it's just we've got to set the date. Now that might not actually pan out either. So I can't hold my breath on it. And it's starting to get hot. Bringing some cooler here. But the case in point is that yeah, I got to start hitting other venues fairly soon. Now, mind going into the winter, I'm not going to be touring. I'm not going to be playing probably every week in the winter. But if I can get at least a few full shows in, just to start it and work, getting my That's right. There's a curve here. This isn't a sports car, guys. Well, it's not two wheels there, but just remember, it's not a sports car. We're almost there anyway. Yeah, remember, I got a cursed violin in the back there. It's making me do bad things. Like, I'm 5 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. The rebel that I am. And tonight, just because I'm such a rebel, I'm not going to drink 2 Cokes. I'm going to drink 3. 3! Yeah! Yeah! That's what I'm going to do. But anyway. Fun stuff. Always fun stuff. Okay, so anyway, I'm almost there now. And one of the things I want to bring up is quite simply is that I'm halfway there, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I guess I'm excited. But anyway, one of the things that, well, more than halfway, but one of the things that I want to do with the violins and stuff like that too is it showcases my versatility. Even if I'm not the best at it, there could be somebody sitting in there tonight saying, hey, you know what, we're looking for a fiddler and we're having a real hard time. We know you're just starting out on it, but if you got your electric violin, like you say, would you want to jam with us? Can you play mandolin? Okay, your fiddling sucks, but can you play mandolin? Yeah, I can. Okay, do you want to come and hang out with us? We have a mandolin for you to play. We'll bring it next week. You can show us your stuff. Okay, you tune it. Make sure it's tuned when I get here. Done. You'd be surprised how easy it is to slip into bands. On an instrument, you're not usually your main instrument. For example, the problem with being a guitar player is that there's no shortage of guitar players. Bass players are usually guitar players that can't find a band. My cousin, I just beamed everybody. You get it, because there's so many people, you're flicking this darn thing all the time, you kind of lose it. So that's about 10 people that are saying, who is this jerk keeping the high beams on? Thank God my headlights are not the brightest. Yeah, I'm putting everybody in the ditch. Well, when I'm on the road, you know, it sucks to be you. You know what I mean? This is my road. That's why. But anyway, the thing is that my cousin, for example, him and his band there, Beyond Driven. I like going and seeing them. Erin, she's a great singer. Jeremy's the guitar player. I love his Flying V. He's got a really cool. He's got a good kick-ass sound. My cousin, but he played guitar forever, and then he bought himself a cheap bass. Next thing you know, he's in a band. You know what I mean? I want to pick up a whole bunch of different instruments for that very reason. I do want a bass. Probably just a 4-string. 5 strings, I've played them. I'm actually not a bad bass player, I'll be honest with you. I'm actually quite a good bass player. I'm of the Billy Sheehan, Steve Harris kind of bass playing stuff. That's the kind of playing I strive for. Am I as good as Steve Harris or Billy Sheehan? Absolutely not. But I also like the Jaco Pastorius stuff. The Motown guy. Long passed away, but I love a fretless bass. There was a guy last week had a fretless bass there. Oh, I love a fretless bass. No matter what setting it's used in. I don't know. It's a unique sound. I like it. I'm not even talking stand-up bass. Now, I have played stand-up bass, and I'm actually not a bad stand-up bass player either. Problem is you got to really practice with those things. I can do what you would call like a rockabilly type of stand-up bass. You wouldn't call me a dedicated bass player at all. In that sense, you wouldn't even really. I know enough to be dangerous. Thank God he's not behind me. Not an 18-wheeler full of fuel. Last thing I wanted. Yeah, my Curse Stradivari get run over by an 18-wheeler full of fuel. Nice. But he's going the other way anyways. Again, hats off to all the truckers out there that are going to work, still on the road working while I'm going to play and have fun. High beaming. And hats off to all the people tolerating me high beaming them tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting too, not paying enough attention to my, like my other van. It's like this thing, I guess, this little CRV has like 439,000 kilometers, 250,000 miles on this thing, right? And it's like some of the parts on it you have to flick a couple of times to get them to work. That being, although it works, the high beam, low beam switch sometimes springs back before it kicks in. So then it's like you're still high beaming people. It's like, no, I hit the low beam. Oh no, I didn't. It's like you got to watch out if you're not paying attention to it. It's like, oh yeah, you're high beaming everybody. What a jerk. What a jerk I am. And not to mention that I'm taking a cursed violin and going to curse everybody in the bar with a violin. Like, what a jerk. I'm a jerk tonight. Tonight is the gig night of the jerk. That's what tonight is. But we're almost there. We're in the little town of Wakefield again. Looking forward to reading the story. I wish I had to write the email out by hand. I wasn't able to write the whole thing out because it was taking me too long, so I had to cut a few parts out of it. But, my printer, I haven't used it that much, but I think maybe either the ink dried up in it, or, but I just printed something not that long ago, and it printed fine, but maybe just the black and white cartridges out of it. But anyway, my little inkjet was cursed tonight, so maybe that's where it begins, who knows. But the only thing I'm worried about, as long as, like all the things with the violins, as long as they stay in tune, again, it shows another dynamic to what I can do. People are probably, like last week I got a really good reception. I've actually watched the footage a few times of my violin playing last week, the Rubens train thing and all that, and I think it did fairly well. I really can't say it was that bad. Again, it was dog here. Gotta watch out for the dog. I can't say it was that bad at all. In fact, I thought I did quite well. The little piece after was a little bit, spastic, if you want to say. I kind of went all over the place because I kind of lost what I was doing, and it's okay. I got to figure out how I'm going to end this thing. But tonight, that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to know where to start it, know where to end it. There's no, it's not improv tonight. It's actually slightly rehearsed. It's also dart night at the Black Sheep Inn tonight. I want to play that place too. There's been some big bands have played there. Headstones, Tragically Hip. All kinds of people have played there. Again, these little towns in the middle of nowhere nobody in the world has ever heard of, sometimes just attract the most interesting stuff. Okay. Okay, so Cafe 1870. See if I can get the driveway right this time. Somebody took my parking spot! Whoa! Or did it? No, they didn't! As long as they don't hit the tree stump again and knock my fender off, like I did the last time. I see you now, Mr. Tree Stump. Oh, what's this? Oh, it looks like there's going to be somebody getting something built next door. That's interesting. Okay. Shut everything off. There we go. Okay, so maybe what I'll do, well, maybe I'll test it in here. I'll go and make sure my violin's still in tune before I go inside. And then, oh, who's coming down there? There's somebody I know there. Oh, there's the guy I know. I wonder if he's hosting tonight. Anyway,